hair of a pregame show. And let me see if I can find this on the iPad, make sure that we've got good audio. Get this puppy going. And it's not showing up yet. Let me try one more time here. There it is. Okay. Sounds good. We did a double boot, and the audio is working. The audio is working, and the lovely Bree Fit Dance is in early. She's in at 4:58 p.m. That's pretty unique. Pretty good. She's normally not here for the pregame show. That's pretty cool. And Kyle's in the house. He says, hey, guys. He's often here for the pregame show. Lance is in the house. He says hi to Bree. Absolutely. Bree's a classy young lady, and you will definitely want to take her to your senior prom. No doubt about that. Okay, so we got an issue today. By the way, BreeFitDance.com, BreeFitDance.com. That's the lovely Brianna's website, BreeFitDance.com. Fitness, health, dancing, beauty, all those good things. So this is kind of an emergency broadcast. We got an issue. Hate having to go over these things over and over again, but we've got a little bit of an issue. By the way, I'm wearing the gold stunner on wrist. I think it looks good with this yellow shirt. By the way, I wonder if any of the early comers in here, we've only got a couple people in here right now. I wonder if in the early comers, if any of them can say who made this shirt and where it was made. Who, what company, what brand name, and where was it made? Let's see who can guess that. Let's see who can guess that first. We are talking about don't buy junk. I have to keep going over this time and time again because there are people out there that are buying junk. All right, I'm running into this situation. People out there buying junk. And I'll tell you why I know this. I'll tell you why I know this. On guessing made in the U.S., yes, but what's the brand name? Okay, so... And I'll tell you why I say this, is I was checking on, I did a couple searches on Kenneth Gordon shirts, just doing some research on eBay, and I found a couple of them for sale, and one of them was not made in the United States of America. So Kenneth Gordon has started making some shirts offshore. They always made their shirts in the USA, right? They've started making some shirts offshore. And here's the reason why they do that is people will buy them. If people would stop buying this imported crap, guess what? The manufacturers wouldn't do it anymore. If we put our foot down and said we ain't buying it, then they wouldn't be doing it. So it's our fault for buying this Chinese-made junk and perpetuating this problem by Brooks Brothers. Absolutely, Leslie. You can tell by the roll of the collar, the button-down collar, that Brooks Brothers roll is kind of hard to duplicate. And now this is one of the good old days when they were made in the USA. Again, plenty of fabric in the shirt. You can see all the, let me get a close-up. See the gathering there, the fabric, the way it gathers. And that is what allows you to have so much fabric in the sleeves and all for ease of movement and comfort. And that's the classic Brooks Brothers. They were always very full like this. Of course, the ones you buy now on the Brooks Brothers website, of course, I think they were bought out. They went bankrupt or whatever, but somebody owns it. But they're going to be real trim cut, real trim fit, and they're probably going to be made in China and probably junk fabric. Probably low-quality stitching. Probably the buttons that fall apart when they're laundered 3 times. That sort of thing. R. Wags is in the house. He knows the drill. He knows what quality is. He's no joke. All right, so here's the deal. We're going to talk about phones, folks. Oh, boy. Talk to my buddy. He always likes to buy junk, right? So anyway, I told him that the leather case on my iPhone was getting a little tired. It's 3 years old, and I was going to replace it. And I found this one on not eBay, on Amazon. And it was a great deal. It was $20. They're normally like $40 from Apple. This is the leather case. So it's $20, so I bought it, and I just got it today, and it's great. It is fantastic. It is absolutely stunning. And this time I got black. The last one I had is red, and I'll show you that in a minute. But here's the little close-up. The fit and finish is absolutely perfect on these. You get full access to all of the controls and full access to the port on the bottom, unobstructed access, because I've got a microphone that I can plug onto there that I need that unobstructed access. But you get protection on the corners, on all the corners, and it wraps a little bit around. There's a little lip there, so if you drop it, it gives a little bit of protection to the phone. Maybe not a ton of protection, but more than none. And I like my phone to remain very trim. This is very trim, and you can get a very good grip on it, and it's a very firm, tight fit. I like firm, tight fits, and it looks great. And again, the other one I had, after 3 years, it was starting to get kind of dark, like almost black around the corners, around the edges and all, from like the oils from your hand and stuff like that. This was a Project Red one, and it was red leather, right? And so it was still working, it was still functioning, it was just getting a little bit not so great looking, right? So I went ahead and got the black this time, which shouldn't have that same problem, right? Because it's already black. But a little thing like that, a little detail like having a nice leather case on your iPhone, and of course I don't recommend anybody have an Android phone, but just a little detail like that can make a big difference in your overall presentation, right? And what I do is I carry it in the holster with the clip on it. I carry it like this. I can clip it right onto my swimsuit. I can clip it right onto my belt. I can clip it wherever I want, right? And then I can quickly and easily get access to the phone. I think it's goofy having a phone in your pocket. Some people say it's goofy having this clipped on your belt. I disagree 100%. I think it's goofier having the freaking phone in your pocket and having to reach in your pocket and get the phone when it rings, and then you end up dropping it and breaking the glass and everything else because you're fumbling around. And this is the other reason why you need to have a watch on your wrist, is if you're checking the time, you need to be looking at your watch, not trying to fumble your phone out of whatever pocket you've got it stuffed in, and then again it slips out of your hand, it hits the pavement, it shatters the screen, and that's where we end up. So that's where we are. This is an intervention for those that have a cheap plastic junky case like this, a cheap plastic junky case on their phone, right? No, that's not the way to go. You want a decent case on your phone. Apple, leather case. It fits perfect. Very snug, very tight, very firm. Snug, tight, and firm. And beautiful. Those are the things we like. Let me know in the chat what you think about that. Looks like you borrowed the shirt at So Big C Fella. There's these people coming in that like the tight shirts, like the hipster shirts. What type of leather is the case made from? I'm not sure. It's an Apple case. I'm sure that the leather is bonded onto a frame, right? But it's really well done. It's really well done, and it feels great. So, yes, whatever way they do it, they are doing a good job. Triforce Rich is in the house. Is this the world's greatest iPhone case to go along with the world's greatest watch and the world's greatest man? There you go. That's what we're doing. We're striving for excellence on the channel here. We're striving for excellence on the channel. That's why we have Leslie in the chat, and we had Bree in the chat earlier. We've got Kyle in the chat. We've got R. Wags in the chat. Obviously, we are striving for excellence on the channel. Let's see here. Love the big roomy shirts. Good taste 50 years ago, 25 years ago, and today. Very comfortable to work, wearing 8 to 10 hours a day. Definitely not a skinny shirt. Very, very trendy. Just like the skinny pants. Yeah, can you imagine our Wags being, doing business and wearing those real tight-fitting slacks so that when you sit down and you bend your knee, like everything's binding up. Would that be fun on a busy work day when you're doing deals? I don't think that would be a lot of fun. A Triforce Rich is in the house. Craig, how many more years of phone cases do you need to have over 40 years experience? There you go. I've been using these Apple leather cases, by the way, for years. I have had them on my phones for years, and I do like them. There was a period of time when I carried my iPhone without any case on it at all. I would either go naked with the phone or the leather stunner case. I don't think I'd do any other options. It'd be either naked, and naked, of course, you're taking more of a risk if you do drop it of something breaking, right? At least the leather gives a little bit of protection, and that one is trim enough that it doesn't really hamper the use of the phone. See, I hate it when you see these cases that are so bulky and thick and stuff, and you can't even hardly use the phone, right? This, it doesn't really, you've got full access to the whole screen. There's not that much of a lip here. You've got, it's really easy to use everything. I think that I think it's the perfect solution. Let me know in the chat what you think. What do you think? Do you think Craig's delusional? Put those over here. You think Craig's delusional on this one? Has he lost it? Has he lost his mind on the case thing? Clive says Trump 2020. My buddy was over here today. Oh my gosh. I was helping him, teaching him how to put an item on eBay. He wants to sell some things on eBay. He's one of these people that, he's a couple years older than me. I've known him for 40 years plus years. He worked with me at Wheaton Dodge, my first real job, if you will. He worked there, and he used to go get coffee for me and so forth. He was one of our gophers. So anyway, he comes over and he wants to learn how to use eBay. He's one of these guys that's ignored the internet for 20 freaking years, and now he figures he wants to try to take advantage of it, right? He's totally clueless. Didn't know how to open up a browser, didn't know how to go to a website, didn't know how to do anything, right? I had to literally show him every little step of what to do. I mean, we spent 3 hours and we got 2 items listed on eBay for him. It was a total freaking disaster. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, he's blaming the whole virus thing on Trump. He's buying into this mantra that all these people died needlessly because of Trump, because he downplayed it, and and all this stuff, right? I pointed out to him, I said, listen, in the top 10 states as far as the highest death rate, the number of deaths per 100,000 population, 9 of the top 10 are Democrat states, heavily Democrat states, like New York, New Jersey, California, right? These are the states, Connecticut, these are the states that are, of the top 10 highest death rates in this country, 9 of them are Democrat run. I said, you're going to tell me it's Trump's fault? Well, it's leadership, he's not giving leadership. I said, I hate to break the news to you, but the governors are in charge of those states. Anyway, this is what we're dealing with, folks. We're dealing with some real idiots, okay? We're dealing with some people that are so freaking clueless. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on how clueless these people are. Look at the watches they buy. Come on, look at the watches some of them buy. Look at that collection that gentleman had. Let me see if we still have that tab up in here. Where is it? No, that's the Newell. No, that's not that one. I guess I don't have it up anymore. But anyway, I was going to show those ugly watches, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Oh boy. Triforce Rich says, Craig, you could use half of that fabric and it still wouldn't be tight, LOL. But that's the point. You're supposed to have all the extra fabric. That's the point. You pay a lot of money to buy a shirt. You don't want them to skimp on the fabric. You want the fabric. See, this is where they've got these people snowed. I bet you it's the textile manufacturers. I bet you it's the companies making these shirts and making these pants and making these suits, for example, that have talked these people into these tight-fitting suits that are real short, that look like they came from the little boys department. You know, the ones that come up to like their wrist, the jacket, the suit jacket, right? Instead of when you cup your hands, instead of it coming to there, right? They terminate about at your wrist. Have you seen those? Those super short. I bet you it's the manufacturers that have talked these idiots into buying this stuff because they save on fabric. Think about how much money they save by making those jackets real short and real tight and making the pants real tight. They can probably get away with half of the fabric as compared to a high quality suit. That's probably what they can do. Let's see here. I got a Hulk for sale for $18K in the interest. Oh boy. The fake Clive Wrangler. Clivester Skype in. That's not his real account, I don't think. Derek's in the house thinking that's the real Clive. Anyway, Clive, I don't know why, if he's got an Apple computer, I don't understand why he can't get Skype working. This should not be rocket science getting Skype working. I think he just doesn't want to call in. I think that's the way that is. All right, I'm closing some tabs if you wonder what I'm doing. Let me, look at that. Look at that Yachtmaster. That's a goodie. That's a goodie. All right, I digress. Let me close some of these tabs out here before we forget. There's one of those Soho or whatever they call them. Yeah, that's a goodie. That's a goodie, I say. All right, let's see what else we got here. And oh, this is that one we looked at the other day that I thought was really cool, that nobody could tell me what color those indices are. Are those actually blue, or are they like a purplish? Look at that. Look at that. Let me know what you think. What color are those indices on that watch? Because if they're a purplish, Bree likes purple. Let's see. Triforce Rich says, I don't think fabric is an issue. You can still get the full-size shirts for the same price as the trim fit shirts from company. Yeah, but they're probably real low-quality shirts. They're probably garbage shirts that you're talking about, because then it doesn't matter, because the fabric's probably real cheap garbage fabric to start with. But if you get a decent shirt, you're probably going to pay more. Yeah. So there's that. And here's the thing. Even if they sell the shirts that have more fabric in them, they're hoping that the suckers buy the tight fit shirts for the same price. Of course, they would love to sell you a shirt tight fitting for the same price, or maybe even more. You know, act like it's real hip, and so we can get more. So charge like, you know, charge $180 for the trim fit shirt and charge $120 for the full fit, right? And hope they buy the trendy one that they think is trendy, pay more money and get less fabric. That's the deal. That's a good plan. I think that's a good plan. Let's see. Derek's in the house. It has his picture, so I figured, Craig, are you stocked up on sweet potatoes? No, they didn't have them at Costco the last time. I just got another bag of regular potatoes. Regular potatoes work. Sweet potatoes are a little bit more nutritious, but regular potatoes aren't the end of the world. They're still very nutritious. Looks blue to me, says Jipu. Yeah, I think you're right. I think the indices might be blue. They might be just a little bit, the white balance might have been a little bit off on that photo. I think it's a neat looking watch, though. I haven't heard Bree comment on it, though. Maybe Bree's gone. Maybe she just popped in to say hi briefly and get her website shown off, and then she took off. That watch isn't from Swiss Watch Expo, is it? No, this one I'm showing is on Chrono 24. Chrono 24. I don't think they have this model on Swiss Watch Expo. And this one's a really good price. I think it's $3,100. Yeah, it's $3,100. And it's in Atlanta, though. It says it's in Atlanta. Aren't they in Atlanta also? No, it's Crown and Caliber, I guess, has this watch. But 3,100 for a 6-digit unit that's supposedly in really good shape with a nice... I like that dial. I like that dial. I say... So it's very interesting. I have added it to my favorites. I'm keeping an eye on that puppy. Will Steve be on tomorrow? I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so, Kevin. Please send him an email. Rattle his cage. Triforce Rich, what's the point of having your cuffs so tight then? Wouldn't it be better loose so you can move your wrist around, extra foot on the sleeves? No. No. The reason that you have cuffs relatively tight is that makes it harder for mosquitoes to fly inside and go up inside and bite you. Okay? That's why you have the cuffs tighter. And also cold air, right? Keeps the cold air from going up in there. There's a reason why they had the cuffs, relatively snug on the wrist. You don't want them to hamper you, but you want them relatively snug because the whole purpose of the shirt is to protect you and keep you warm and keep those mosquitoes from coming up in there and biting you. And also the when you put on your suit coat and all that, you don't want your suit coat to have to be overly large. The bigger your shirt cuff is, then the bigger the opening in the suit coat needs to go, and everything follows suit, right? So, you want a reasonable. Now, on me, the cuffs tend to be a little bit tight because my arms are oversized. My forearms are oversized for the size of my body, and so I'm abnormal in that regard. So for me, it's a little bit more of an issue. Most people would have a little more room there. So that's the deal. But you do want them relatively tight, and you'll find that safari shirts are going to be tighter than most because of that reason. So the mosquitoes don't get up in there, man. The reason you have the tightly woven fabric is mosquitoes can't bite through that. Can't sting you through it. Let's see here. Can't suck your blood. Reasons for everything. If you dig deep enough, there's reasons for a lot of things in this world. Tim's in the house. Craig, the Labour government, Democratic Party equivalent in Victoria, Melbourne, allowed security companies using untrained staff for COVID-19 hotel quarantine and caused the second wave virus. This first wave, second wave, all of this stuff, the virus is not that dangerous unless you're 80 years of age and older with pre-existing conditions. The virus is not a big deal. It's no worse than the normal flu. So I don't understand why people care about a first wave, second wave, third wave. Just let it burn through and let people get it, and it passes through like any other virus, and it's over with. It's not a big deal. The thing is not that deadly. We've been totally scammed. We've been hoodooed. We've been hoodooed. That's what's happened here. So there you go. And by the way, in the United States of America, you can probably figure that half of the deaths, first of all, are people 80 years and older with pre-existing conditions that probably would have died anyway. That's half of the deaths. And probably 25% of the rest of the deaths are misclassified deaths so that the hospitals can get money. Because anytime somebody dies of COVID, they get extra money, right? So, you hear stories of people dying in a motorcycle accident and they marked them down as COVID. So that's how that whole thing works. Follow the money. We've got incentives built around having those numbers high, especially the Democrat states, right, where they want to make it look real bad so that they can win an election. Imagine that. Imagine them doing almost anything to win an election. Would that ever happen? Would that ever happen? Corey Wilson James, Craig, I am watch with dogs mans. This man telling me he knows nothing of quality, for I have with high-end leather goods for many decades. My dogs were much high-end breed when compared contrast on his dog. I will send you email now. Okay, there you go. All right, let's go ahead and block Corey. We'll go ahead and hide him, and let's see how long it takes him to make a another account. All right, he's gone. Jeepu's in the house. Craig has huge forearms. That's why the cuffs are tight. That's correct. Yes, my forearms are unnaturally large for my size, for my body size. Triforce Rich is in the house. Nice facts, Craig. I had no idea about the mosquito explanation. There you go. Well, that's why people tune in to this show. Nos Nigel in the house. Hello to all. Sent an email. Lanster sent an email. Poor Corey. Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's check this email. Let's check this email. All right, let's do a time check while it loads. I'm trying to get the email to load in. By the way, Bitcoin took a dip. I sold my GBTC at 14.75, I think it was, and then it took a dip, and I bought it back at 14, and then it dipped some more, so it's down a little lower than 14, so hopefully it'll rebound, and I can do some more trading in my Roth account, my Roth IRA account. Oh, this thing is not loading in. My Gmail is not loading in for some reason. We will have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to see if I can do this another way. Oh, boy. All right, now it's loading in. Give me a moment here. Meanwhile, you have to suffer by looking at the 231. Looking at the 231 stunner. Oh, this is going to be a Rolex Datejust. This is going to be a Rolex Datejust, 6-digit. Okay. All right. Unfortunately, I am not a fan of that strap, but let's take a look. It almost makes it look like it's got a integral case, right? The way they did that. I mean, it's okay. It's probably a deployant, so that's a plus. My guess is it's a deployant. You know, those lugs look goofy, too. Look how the lugs look funky. No, they screwed this watch up. What in the heck did they do? I like the deployant clasp, of course, I like that. But what did they do to those lugs? Look at what they did to those lugs. What's with Rolex and screwing up lugs? Oh boy. 2 thumbs down on that one. I hate to say it. 2 thumbs down on that puppy. What the heck were they thinking? Oh boy. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I do not know what the deal is on that. Why would they ever mess up those lugs? Beautiful lugs on a oyster bracelet. Let's see. Hello, Bree. Blah, blah, blah. That's why arm curls are the best. Jipu. Blah, blah, blah. And the push-ups. Those aren't going to increase your forearm size much, Bree. My arms are way bigger than Craig's, but his forearms make mine look like twigs. There are special exercises you can do for your forearms. Bree has the 1 gallon jug with the rope, with the pole, and you go like this, and you twist it back. You twist it, rolling the cord up, and then you twist it back the other way, lowering it down. That's a good forearm exercise. It's for tennis. For tennis, having strong forearms is a real plus when you're playing tennis. And so, but it also, some of it is heredity. My dad has big forearms also. His forearms are bigger than mine because he's much bigger and heavier. He's close to 300 pounds. He's a big man, right? But his forearms were always big for his body size, even when he was younger and when he was not as heavy as he is now. So it does run in the family, but it is a benefit when you're playing tennis to have strong forearms for those strokes. It's especially volleys. It comes in handy, and also in some defensive situations, it's good to have a very strong grip and have very strong forearms. Sometimes that comes in handy in a defensive situation. MRG 1911 says, keep it clean, Craig. That would exercise as well. Keep it clean. What was unclean that we were talking about? Did I do foul language? MRG 1911 has a smiley face. Bree, are you using the forearm exercise tool? That thing we rigged up with you with the string? Are you using that? Do let me know. And what we've got, Carlos, are you present? I think he would have said he'd be present. Tyler's in the house. What's your opinion on Buffett hating Bitcoin and just buying 300 million in gold stocks this past Saturday? Buying the gold is one step in the right direction. He was also negative on gold stocks some time ago, so he's starting to slowly come around. So I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Buffett isn't also buying Bitcoin in the background and keeping it quiet. So I wouldn't be surprised about that. A lot of high net worth individuals are starting to buy Bitcoin in the background in the over-the-counter market quietly. The thing about Bitcoin is the market cap is so small that if people go in and start buying it aggressively on the exchanges, they can move the price very quickly, right? And they don't want to do that. If they're still in the mode of acquiring Bitcoin, they want to try to do it as quietly and as under the radar as possible so that they can get it as cheap as possible, right? And so that's probably what's going on. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. There's a lot of indicators that that's what's going on. Briefit Dan says, yes, I'm doing the wood twist exercise plus the arm curls on odd days. Briefit Dance. I'll tell you one thing about the lovely Brianna is she is not resting on her laurels. I mean, she's gorgeous. She's in great shape. She's fit as can be, but she is working at it. She is working at it. She always wants to improve herself, and not just physically, but also with her skill sets mentally and her skills, like the hoop dance that she's practicing every day. Let us know how much you practice with the hoop every day. Bree, let us know. She's not just sitting back and playing video games and watching TV and hanging out on social media. She's actually in motion and actually doing things. That's refreshing to see these days. A young person that's got some drive and motivation. I love your review of Eric's collection. He's a good guy, but so many guys have large collections and never wear them. Well, and also he's got too much redundancy in there. He's got way too many sport watches and not really one 100% dress watch. He had a couple of watches he could wear for dress. He could wear that gold GMT for dress, and he could wear the Date 8 for dress, but it ain't going to look like this 002 Stunner on wrist. It ain't going to look like that. Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't think it's going to look like that, right? So let's get this on the south side of the bone so you can really see that puppy. Let's get that puppy out there so you guys can really see the side of that case and see the proportions of it and see how nice that crown is, how it's a nicely proportioned crown, not small looking like some of the Pateks have, not a wimpy looking crown, right? Let's see. You should review Dogman's collection. That would be hilarious. I don't even know what his collection is. I don't know what he's got. If he does a video showing his whole collection, I'll be happy to review it. Lamont's in the house. Yo, Craig, he's got a wrench. And Bree, he's saying hi to Bree. He's he's nobody's dummy. He knows to say hi to Bree. Jaden's in the house. I can't understand why anyone would like Eric's collection. Same models. Lamont says, word, y'all. And Tim is in the house. He's on hi to Lamont. Lately, I've been practicing the hoop an hour because it takes a while to get a certain technique down. Well, good. Excellent, Bree, because here's the thing. When you're doing that, not only are you exercising, but you're also learning at the same time. So you're killing two birds with one stone. You're doing some of your cardio, some of your exercise, and dancing techniques. Because see, the thing about the hoop dance is the dance part is every bit as important, if not more so. And this is what Audrey brought to the table. Audrey really revolutionized hoop dance because she emphasized the dance part, her amazing dance, her sultry dance, and incorporated that in the hooping. And she was really the first one that really took that to a whole new level. And so when you're practicing, Bree, when you're practicing the hoop and the hoop dancing, you're improving your dancing skills and your hooping skills all at the same time. It's a triple win. It's a triple win situation. And you are making progress. That is evident. Let's see. Craig, if there were a better watch, which objectively than the 002, would you buy it regardless of brand? Well, here's the problem, Kyle. If it didn't have the spring drive, I don't know how it could trump it, because one of the big aspects of this watch is the spring drive. That silky smooth second hand, the robust nature of it, and of course the accuracy. So, and I don't know if I'd want one with a 9F, with the click, click, click. I think for my dress watch, for something very elegant like this, I think it adds to it to have that smooth second hand. Let's take a close look. Let me get that shirt out of the way. I think that really adds to it. So that's the problem. That's why it's going to be so difficult to find an adequate replacement unless Grand Seiko licenses the spring drive to some other manufacturers. That would be a possibility. Let's see. Trevor Rich says his collection is pretty much every steel Rolex minus the Daytona and Milgauss. He has 4 different Submariners, I think. Okay. Percher, okay. And LGBT Breitling. Some say rainbow. Okay. All right. Yeah, a lot of his watches, should probably go. There's probably no reason to have a lot of those. Don't you just love when the second hand glides? Stunning. It is amazing to look at. It's just amazing, especially this one with the blued second hand against the gold and the white snowflake dial. I'm looking at it right now, and it's like you almost just want to keep looking at it, right? Yeah. And you got to be careful when you're driving, out and around driving, and the sun is hitting this gold and all, and it can be very distracting, and you can find yourself looking at the watch and almost driving off the road. It's almost as bad as texting and driving. You got to be careful when you're wearing an 002. I got to tell you, you got to be careful. All right, we might have an abbreviated show today, folks. We might have an abbreviated show. Let's think. Let me think. Let's see if there's anything else I needed to show. One thing. I uploaded a photo. I uploaded another photo of the lovely Brianna to my Flickr stream. And this was a goodie. This was a goodie. So make sure. This was one where the lovely Brianna was blowing a kiss. She was blowing a kiss. BrieFitDance.com. Be sure to follow her on social media. Okay? Do yourself a favor. Follow her on social media. There was some mess. Somebody got hit with a wrench. Nigel, whoever that is, he got hit with a wrench. What happened there? Let's see. Bree says, thank you for the advice, Craig. It's definitely all about motivation, drive, and just going for it. And Jaden says, Dogman actually said he is thinking about selling all his subs and just having one gold Submariner. Well, duh. That would be a pretty good move. Duh. I mean, geez. What's up with these people that they just don't get it? Triforce Rich is in the house. I stare at my spring drive. It's hypnotizing. Absolutely it is. Triforce Rich, why did you take him out? All he said is that he likes spring drive. I don't know. Who did that? Who hit Nos Nigen for 300 seconds and why? Please do tell. Who did that? I didn't even notice the comments. I just noticed that he'd been hit with the wrench. And Tim's in the house. Craig, what will you do with your GS leather strap? I'm going to keep it. I'm not planning on selling it. I'm planning on keeping it because at some point I might want to put it on again. I do prefer the black, but at some point it might go back on the wrist. One thing about the GS strap is it is softer on the inside. This is super comfortable, don't get me wrong, but it's even more comfortable than this. But I was told that it will also wear out quicker because it's the softer leather on the inside. I don't know if that's true or not because, of course, I didn't leave it on there that long. But it is super comfortable. But I do like the black color. So I would like to have a GS strap like that in black. That would be kind of cool. But it is what it is. Kyle says that was harsh. I had to show him who's boss. Jipu. Was it Jipu hit him with it? Craig, remove Jipu's wrench. He's abusing his power. All right, well, here's the thing. Okay, Jipu, if you got to be careful. I'm not going to remove the wrench right now. But be careful. Be careful. If other members of the wrench gang feel that you're abusing your wrench, it will be retracted. It will be retracted. You have to. With great power comes great responsibility, right? That's how that works. Hey, Craig, back from my local mechanic, help keeping small businesses afloat. There you go. What did they do? What did your mechanic do? MRG 1911, I think 3 nice watches is perfect number. What say you, Craig? If you can find 2 watches that meet your needs, I think it's easier if they're automatic watches. In other words, if they require wrist movement to wind, I think it's a lot easier to keep 2 running than 3. 3 is virtually impossible if they're automatic and they need wrist time. And I don't believe in watch winders and all that nonsense. So if you're in the Rolex camp, for years I had a 2-watch Rolex Day-Date and a Steel Sport model in rotation. And generally speaking, I was able to keep them both going. Towards the end there, prior to me selling the Day-Date, I was having some trouble keeping both of them running. And it started becoming almost a hassle. So in an ideal world, you could find one watch that's just spectacular, that is an all-arounder that meets all your needs, and just wear that all the time. But that's almost impossible because really a Day-Date, you could do it, but I think it's bold. It's a little bit bold, right? doable, especially if you got the new Date 8 with the ceramic sleeves in the bracelet, so you don't have the stretch problem. Then that could be doable. And I've threatened that I would 24/7. Actually, I would take it off when I sleep, but I've threatened that this could be my only watch, the 002. I'm so enamored with it. It's so freaking nice that it could be my only watch. If somebody stepped up and wanted to buy the 231, the world famous 231, that's probably the most accurate 231 on the freaking planet. If somebody stepped up and wanted to buy that for a fair price, I would be tempted to try to wear the 002 as my only watch. That would be something interesting to try. Let's see. Excuse me. Trashy Larry says, tell him who your mechanic is, G-Town. Trashy Larry, go ahead. Okay, Triforce Rich. I've got a 3-watch rotation. I think it's great rotation. I still think Craig has room for one more watch that fits the gap between the Dress 002 and the big sports watch 231. Why do I need to fit that gap, though? For what purpose? Tell me the purpose. Tell me the purpose. Because when I'm dressed casual, the 231 is fine. When I'm not dressed casually, the 002 is fine. I don't know that I need something in between. Boy. Oh, just a routine oil change. I own a Toyota, so any mechanic hasn't had enough chances to know me that well. Triforce Rich, in my opinion, a Pepsi or Batgirl would be that third piece for Craig. The problem is I would have to wind it every time. I'd have to unscrew the crown, wind it, set the time, set the date in that case. It would be a pain because I wouldn't be able to keep it running. I wouldn't be able to give it enough wrist time to keep it running. So every time I wanted to wear it, I'd have to wind it up and set the time and all that. And that's just a pain in the neck. So therefore, it would probably be sitting in the box. It'd probably become a box watch. And you know, if I have a box watch, it goes down the road. That's what happens when I have a box watch. It goes down the road. Watches that don't get wrist time don't last in this environment. Kyle's in the house. I think people want you to get another GMT, Craig. Cheetown sent you an email. Okay, let's check it. Should have kept the 005 and sold the 231. I don't know. I really preferred the 231. Seeing the 005 didn't have micro adjustments. And by the way, I am not a fan. Oh, a Jaguar. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's terrible. I guess that's a Jaguar. I guess that's what that is. Or is that a Hyundai or something? I don't know what that is. Okay. I can't tell anymore. Okay, so the 005, this is the other rub that I have with the 005. I've loved the 005. It's a beautiful watch, beautiful dial, you know. But, again, because of these pundits out there saying, oh, screws you need to use screws. Pins and collars are terrible, right? So Grand Seiko caved, and on the steel watches, the steel bracelets, they went to screws. So what they decided to do in their infinite wisdom on the 005, and I guess many of their watches, is they have tiny little screws that are super short, that are tiny. And what you do is you take out the screw, and then there's a pin in the center that goes through part of the link and goes through the center link and then hits where that second screw is, right? So the two little tiny screws, the only purpose they serve is to hold the pin in, the bracelet, right? And the reason they do this is, of course, because they want that pin to be able to freewheel. They want that pin to be able to rotate, right? So they want the benefits of the pin and collar system, but they want to be able to say they've got screws. So now, as a result, they've got two tiny little screws that you can lose, right? And a pin in the middle that you can lose. The pin's harder to lose than the tiny little screws. And the tiny little screws are very difficult to get out because they're so small. I have a precision set of screwdrivers, a really high-end set. I don't know if they're Swiss or German or what they are. I couldn't get the damn screw out, right? And so it again, I mean, it's just, my God, you're going the long way around the barn. What the hell? If you want to put screws in, put a screw in and put it all the way through and have it be fixed and have the wear issues that everybody else has, that Rolex has and so on, and you got a freaking screw, right? But don't do a hybrid between the two. What in the heck? I don't know, folks. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to fix some of these problems, but people are not listening. People are not listening, folks. They're just not listening to me. Triforce Rich, you love that Jubilee bracelet, and once you feel the new one, you could be sold. A Jubilee is the way to go on a GMT. Oh my gosh, yes. That's the way to go. Lance is in the house. Craig, get the GS SBGM 027. It's the automatic version of the 005. Why would I want that? If I was going to go back to the 005, I'd go back to the 005, the 9F. I have no problem with the 9F movement. But again, I mean, why would I go back to the 005 when I've got the 002? Why would I hustle backwards? I've got an 002 on wrist, folks. You know, do you need any clarification on that? Look at it. It's stunning. Ask Kyle. He's seen the 002 in person. Kyle, let us know in the chat, how would you compare the 002 to an 005? Which would you rather wear on your wrist? The 002 or the 005? Let's say you had your choice between the two. Let us know in the chat what you would do. My caption is, wildcat spotted in its natural habitat. Yeah. Kyle says, if those new GMT GS watches were titanium, I could see you going for one of those, Craig. Would you pick blue, green, or black? The problem is I want them to be a little more trim. I'd want them to be thinner, I think. Wouldn't you, Kyle? But I do like them. I do like them. I like the blue. I think they're all nice. But also, aren't those 43 mils? I thought they were going to come out and be 40 mils. Somebody said they're 43 mils. So, again, I mean, I might as well just stick with the big diver. If they're going to be that big, I might as well just stick with the 231. I don't really need the GMT function. I really don't. So, Triforce Rich is in the house. Sizing the SoCo was a bitch. It has the tiny screw system, but honestly, I haven't seen any benefits to the pen system. The GS bracelet isn't that comfortable. GS bracelet isn't that comfortable. It's not flexible? It should be super flexible. The pen and collar is the best. I mean, no getting around that. It's the best way to go. The screws with the pens is probably second best, and then screws would probably be last, but my gosh, why didn't they just do the pen and collar? I'll tell you why they didn't do the pen and collar is because people bitched about it. People that had no clue what they were talking about bitched about it. So let's see. I got a root beer, Craig. Want it for a deal? Clive in the house. 36 mil or 41 for a date just. Oh, 36. Obviously 36. Kyle says 002. He didn't mince words. He just straight up said 002. Nas is in the house checking in. Kevin D, depends on your wrist size. My wrist is 6.5 inches, so 36 is better for me. They are 40, I think. I thought they must be thinner too. Can somebody get us the data on those new, the size on those? Can somebody get us the stats so we know for sure? Dur's in the house. I would rather wear a 228, 238. All right, let's pull it up. Let's pull it up here. See if they have any on Swiss Watch Expo. Yeah, they got them on Swiss Watch Expo. Here we go. Oh, they're all sold. Darn it. So these are Date 840s. Yeah. No, I think that would be too big on my wrist. This is the one Dudley has, the black. That would be the one I would pick. If I was going to go Date 840, I think I'd go with that one. But I think they're a little bit too big and bulky for me. I think I would stick with the 36, and the new 36s have the ceramic in the bracelet also. So there you go. Kyle says maybe not. Maybe not what? Okay, maybe somebody will check. Maybe Lance will check. Craig, would you ever buy a Sen? Probably not. And Mr. Q says, nice shirt, Craig, looks sharp. Yeah, this is a Brooks Brothers. This is one of the originals that was made in the United States of America back when they used to be very full and had a lot of fabric in them and all. This is the good old days. See the gathering here on the sleeve? I'll show a close-up of that. And see, it's because it has a lot of fabric in it. And this is an old school Oxford. This is not a pinpoint Oxford. This is just a standard button-down Oxford Brooks Brothers shirt. Unfortunately, getting hard to find. Don't think they make them anymore. So that's the problem. Let's see. They should put micro adjust instead of screws. Well, they should have micro adjusts, and they should have pin and collar and micro adjusts, because that way you only really have to do one adjustment when you buy the watch with the pin and collars, and then you have enough micro adjustments in the clasp for seasonal adjusting, and you're fine. Just like my 231, I don't have to mess with the pins and collars. I'm done for the duration of my ownership of the watch. All I have to do now seasonally is adjust the micro adjustments. It's got 4 micro adjustments. I just move it 1 millimeter, and that's all I need to do. So it's not rocket science. It ain't hard. This whole situation ain't hard to fix. But they don't listen to us. Haven't worn my Pepsi for a while, waiting until next week to wear it until the end of our honeymoon, since it's my engagement watch. So it'll be on wrist for about a month. Okay, there you go. Good play. Kyle says, wow, they are thicker than the 002. 40.5 millimeters and 14.7 tall thick. So they're thicker than the 231, you mean? They're thicker than my 231. Well, that's not good. That's not good. Cheetown's in the house. Craig, do you have any personal preferences for collar stays? I never used them. I never used collar stays. Or are you're not talking about the where they actually the short little piece of plastic or whatever that they actually put in the collar. If you use a decent dry cleaner, they will replace those as needed. If those have come out of the shirt or they're damaged or something or whatever, they'll replace those when they launder the shirt and press and starch and do all that routine. They should do that as part of the procedure, I would think, if that's what you're talking about. Let's see, 231. Yeah, I thought you were talking about 231. Let's see. Sen is great, and they used hex head screws for their links, which is awesome because it makes slippage almost impossible and really easy to size. They even include the sizing tool with the watch. But here's the thing: if you have links and you have a fixed screw going through that link, again, you're going to have the potential for wear and tear there on that fixed screw with that link pivoting against that fixed screw. That's why the pin and collar is superior, because it floats. It floats in there, right? Okay, Cheetown's in the house. Craig, do you think they should offer a lift lock class with micro adjustments, anchoring points on the Date 8 again? I'll tell you, it was cool that back in the day that you could get either the conventional clasp. It didn't have a flip lock on it. It just had micro adjustments. You could get a conventional clasp with micro adjustments, or you could get the President bracelet. Now, prior to the President bracelet, the hidden clasp bracelet coming out, I don't think there was a hidden clasp. In other words, I think the President bracelet came out first with the conventional clasp. And then I think the hidden clasp bracelet came out. And I think for a period of time there, you could get either. You could get it either way, right? And then eventually they did away with the conventional clasp altogether. And you could only get the President, the hidden clasp bracelet. But the hidden clasp, its size is close enough because the links are small enough that you can usually get it to work right. My President bracelet was fine. Now, I did take a link out in the spring and put a link back. No, I'm sorry. I took a link out in the fall when the cold weather was coming, and then I put it back in the spring. I did that once a year. And it had the little screws, right, and had to be careful and so on, but it was doable. So, and I never had one back out and lose one or anything like that. Other people have had problems with that, but I never had that issue with my Date 8. Let's see. Yes, so that's another GS that I thought I might get, but now certainly will not. Kyle in the house, I hear you. Dur's in the house. I've had to tap pins in twice with my snowflake because of them backing up. No. You didn't have them seated properly, Dur. You didn't have them in properly, because if they're in properly, they ain't gonna come out. Such a pain worrying about damaging the sides of the bracelet when you're hammering them in. Well, no. If you have the right tools, it should not be hard. I press mine in. I don't hammer them in. I press them in. But yes, it sounds like they weren't seated properly. And remember, they go in a certain way, right? You can't put them in every which way. And if you put them in properly and you seat them properly, that pin cannot come out of and protrude out of the bracelet. It can't do it just because of the length of it and the way it's seated. If you have it seated fully into that collar, and if you have the collar in the correct position in the bracelet, the pin literally cannot back out. The collar holds it in place. It will not let it come out and protrude out of the bracelet. So it sounds like to me you either didn't have it seated right or it wasn't put in properly at all in the first place. So research that and make sure that's done right, because that should not be the case. The watchmaker at Little Treasury sized my snowflake bracelet. Maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, he might have had some yamoke in there. Some guy knew or something. Who knows? But remember, when I got this watch, Steve put the strap through the clasp and had it threaded up through here. It was threaded wrong, which made it really bulbous, right? And then when I got back, I realized, I looked closer at it and I said, that can't be the way that's supposed to be, right? And then I took it out and I threaded it back in properly, and now it's, proper. So yeah, they don't necessarily know what they're doing. They're working with too many watches and too many distractions and too many things going on. It's very possible that whoever worked on that watch may have screwed it up. See, we call it the way we see it on this channel. They may not like it, but that's what we do. We call it the way we see it. All right, it's 6:03. I thought we were going to have a short show, and instead we ended up going overtime. I hope you get that sorted out, Dur, because that should not be like that. Let's see. Let's find Bree, the lovely Bree. BreeFitDance.com. BreeFitDance.com. She is pretty stunning. I shall say. And she's got her act together, so go ahead and follow her on social media. Click subscribe and click the little bell so you'll get notifications. Derek says we can't end. We talked about Date 8s, Derek. We talked about them big time. Yes, we did. I know we did this time. So you can't say we didn't. We just started here. And you got here late, Derek. What's going on with that? Do you have a note? Do you have a note showing why you were late? And I'm going to wrap this puppy up. Wrap it up. Click subscribe, though, and click the little bell. And go to brieffitdance.com. Follow her on all the social media. You'll be glad you did.